And welcome back to the Pro Organizers Coach podcast and YouTube channel. Today is number 1 in the series for how to start your professional organizing business. Now, if you didn't listen to the previous episode, let me bring you up to speed. Since we've hit 100 episodes, which I'm so excited about, I've decided to redo the very first series that I did that started the POC podcast. So it's how to start your organizing business. That is more than likely why you are here, is to learn how to start and grow a professional organizing business. So over the next 6 to 8 episodes, I'm going to be walking you through and breaking these down even further and helping you through the steps that you need to know. Now, if you are interested in actually having the checklist that I'm going off of, I have an entire workshop for my freebie where I go even deeper into each step and you get a checklist. So if you go to proorganizerscoach.com, and the link will be in the show notes, it's the freebie on my website. Also, if you want the actual things of learning how to do each thing, then I have my course at proorganizersacademy.com where you can get $50 off if you use the coupon SAVE50 in all caps off either one of my courses, how to start your business, or if you need a website, I also have a Squarespace website course that walks you through. It comes with a template. It walks you through all the steps. So I wanted to give you all a gift for just because I am so thankful to you for being a listener and I love a good coupon. So I figured you probably would as well. All right. So today we are going to go through the checklist very high level. And then again, through the next 6 to 8 episodes, we're going to break each one of these down. We're going to talk about what I've learned. We're going to talk about what you need to know, a few tips, tricks, that kind of thing. And then after that, we are actually going to be pivoting the way that this podcast is done. So up until now, it has been very interview heavy. It's been a few workshops, and then a lot of coaching as well, which I love the coaching episodes. But I want to make sure that it's not just about the how to start your business only, because that was not my vision for this podcast. My vision for Pro Organizers Coach is I want us to be a sisterhood of passionate professional organizers. So, how do we become a sisterhood of passionate professional organizers? Well, the group coaching community is helpful with the sisterhood, of course, but the passionate part, we have got to dive into what are you passionate about? What is your purpose? What has God called you to? There's so many layers to clarifying for you what makes you unique so you can take those things and partner them with your business so you can become a mission-driven business. That is the secret sauce of what has made me successful. It's not just been, oh, I started a business because I thought I could make money, or I thought it might be fun, or, I thought I would be good at it. It's because I went through a process of spending time with God, of figuring out what I'm called to, of figuring out what I'm put on this earth for, and then taking those things and making them my mission to help the women that I am meant to help. Now, I did that with my organizing business, and that is how that has succeeded and how I am still working with clients all the time. It is also why I started POC and wanted to start helping you, other women just like me, start their mission-driven organizing businesses. So once we get this series of how to start your business out, because it's a very big foundational piece, of course, then we're going to start diving into all the goodness that comes around clarifying your calling, helping you figure out what your passions, your purpose, the path that you're meant to walk and that you are called to, and that God put you on this earth for. Because when you have a mission on the days that it gets really hard, the mission pulls you forward. When you have a mission and you have a purpose driving the business, all of a sudden you are able to talk to a random stranger at the grocery store because you are on mission. It makes such a difference in your business if you have a mission and if you are passionate about what you are doing. So, after this series, look forward to those episodes coming up. I'm so excited about creating those episodes for you, diving deep. I'm creating the framework for that to help you go through the steps that I went through. That way, you're not cookie cutter copying essentially, like, oh, here's the tips and tricks to do it exactly the way I've done it. Now, some of the stuff works and can be copied, like the tactical things, but your emotions behind it and your passion and all of that, that needs to be uniquely from you. So that way your business can succeed. Because without passion and without mission, your business is not going to succeed. It's not going to be nearly as much fun. And it's going to be easy to want to quit when you have hard days or and it's hard to feel connected to your business when you don't have a purpose behind the reason you started the business. Now, helping people is always a great purpose, but we've got to dive deeper. We've got to figure out, what has God gifted you with? What have you walked through? And how can we help you partner that with your business so you stand out and you are able to help the people that you are meant to be helping? All right. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's jump straight into the checklist. All right. So, with the checklist, of course, if you go download the PDF and do the workshop that I have attached to the PDF with the freebie, where I'm going to go into a lot more detail. But if starting for this and for this purpose of this episode, I'm going to keep it very high level. And then again, over these next few episodes, I will go deeper on each of the topics. So, first and foremost, you want to create a business mindset. Now, I know that sounds almost trivial, I guess. It's like, oh, okay, create a business mindset. Well, how do I do that? Well, in the course, what I've helped you do is actually learn the thought model, which matters when you are looking at your thoughts and you are choosing what thoughts you are thinking. They are going to give you the results that you are either after or the results that you're maybe not so after. And the other thing about creating a business mindset is it also matters when we are spending time with God. Do we have a vision? And all of the things that I just talked about with your purpose and your calling and your passion and having a mission-driven business, all of those things go into creating a business mindset so you can succeed. Because without having a business mindset, you can be an organizer, you can help people, and you may love organizing. But if you don't learn to manage your time, if you don't learn to watch your thoughts, if you don't learn to just do certain things that you have to do as a business owner, dealing with hard clients. There's so many things that come into it, which is why I created the group coaching community, is because creating a business mindset is extremely hard by yourself and it's very lonely. And so when I created the group coaching community, I wanted it to be a place that when we are having a bad day or we are thinking a certain thought, when we do group coaching, or in between sessions when we're talking and helping each other or putting things in the app, someone else can be like, well, hey, have you thought about it this way? Or here's a better thought to think about that thing, right? Like when you are a part of a community, people get to know you. And so then we're able to kind of be like, hey, sis, how's it going? I can tell something's off right now. Or we can also celebrate your wins with you. Because part of creating a business mindset is if you don't learn to celebrate those small wins, you're never going to feel like you're celebrating anything because running a business is a bunch of small wins. Very rarely do we get those big wins that we're after, right? And so you've got to learn to celebrate the small wins and enjoy the journey instead of just trying to get to a destination. So there's so many things that go into creating a business mindset, but I just need you to know that it is extremely important. All right. The business of organization. So, one step that you definitely need to do in the beginning is that you need to do some market research. Now, I say that, but I'm also going to put some parameters on it. You need to set a timer. You need to just write down things that you like about other people's stuff, things you don't like, whether it's like colors and branding, maybe it's certain wording because we don't want to copy what other people are doing because then the energy that we're putting out, it's not going to come off as authentic because it's not authentically us. But I also know in the beginning, it's hard to know what to say, right? Because it's like, oh, well, I'm supposed to create this website for my business, but I've never been a professional organizer. I've never had a business before. So how do I know what to say? And that is where my website course comes in because I created that template specifically for you. And then I walk you through with the course on that template of exactly how to figure out what to put on your website so you don't have to copy someone else's stuff. And so when you are doing your market research, you want to keep it very timed, very quick. You just want to get a few ideas because if you stay down that rabbit trail too long, all of a sudden you can get imposter syndrome. You can start being like, oh, well, other people are so much farther ahead of me. Like, the negative thoughts and feelings can start coming in if you do too much market research. So you just want to look just enough, maybe kind of see if there's a few other organizers in your area, where are they located? What kind of, do they have specific niches? Do they not? Or if you aren't comfortable even looking in your area just yet, then look up organizers in other areas so you don't feel like it's competition because it's not competition. There are enough clients out there for all of us. And that's why I have gotten and become so called to help you find your uniqueness in your business. And your purpose is so your specific clients can find you and it isn't a competition. You don't have to worry about the other organizers in your area or online or any of that because your clients are meant for you. They are waiting on you to help them. So again, just be very aware when you start doing some market research. Just take some notes of what you like, what you don't like, whether it's colors, wording, branding, whatever. Just take some notes, but set a timer and then allow yourself to move on, right? Don't stay there too long. Okay. So then when it comes to step 4 of my checklist, I have attracting your dream clients, which I know technically it's step 3 for what we're doing, but step 1 was to download the workbook in the course. So step 4, attracting your dream client. There is an ideal client reflection. Like you want to make sure that you know who you are speaking to, why that you want to help them, and what you want to help them with. There's a thing called an I help statement or a unique serving proposition. And I do have some videos on that if you want to look on YouTube or in the Facebook group. And I think there are episodes in the 90s on the podcast as well, because I wanted to make sure that you knew how to find your unique people that you are meant to serve, your ideal clients. And that way you at least had the wording and knew how to walk through finding out who you're meant to help at a very high level, right? It's the stuff we're going to start diving into and that I'm so excited about. But for the moment, at least you have an idea, because you want to speak to one person. When you speak to many, you're speaking to no one. When you speak to one person, you can speak to everyone, because then every single person that finds you can feel like you're talking to them, right? Okay, and then I have a past exercise inside of the course that is also on the checklist. And essentially what that is, just so you know, if you want to write this down, and if you're driving, make a note later, of course. um, but past stands for your purpose or passions is the P. A is what anchors you, which for me is like God, my faith, things like that. And then are your strengths and skills. And then T, the first T, are your trials. Like, what have you been through that you've come out of? And then T is your testimonies. What have you walked through that you came out of, that now looking back, you're able to praise God and share what you've been through and share it as a testimony. Again, it goes back to being authentically you. We've got to dive into your past, what you've been through, who you are called to be. Everything about you is actually what's going to help you talk to your person, right? I know for a lot of us, before starting a business, we don't even know who we are. At least I know I didn't. I had no clue who I was. I knew what other people said about me, but anytime I would listen to a podcast or listen to a teaching and someone would say, well, what do other people, what are 3 things that other people say about you? Or what would your best friend say about you if you asked them, name 3 things that Samantha is good at? Because for me, it was always hard for me to look at my own self. And then when I would hear teachings and they'd be like, well, what would your friends say? Or what would your coworkers say about you? Positive and negative. And that helped me a little bit more to figure it out. But it wasn't until I started truly seeking after God and what his calling was for me, and that I started looking at and being open to finding who I was and being okay with who I am. That's when I started actually seeing things. And then I started having some conversations with some people and just asking them. And so if you're not really sure where to start and you're like, well, I don't even know who I am. Well, girl, I've got you. And that is what we are going to be diving into here very shortly on the podcast, and on the YouTube channel. But just remember, like, you can always ask a family, a friend, a coworker, like, hey, what's something that you notice I'm good at? Or you could even journal for yourself and ask God to help you see, what do people come to me for? What am I known for? Just to start getting your juices flowing about who you are and what your gifts are, because we have got to figure out what your unique gifts are, and you have got them, I promise. All right, number 5, naming your business. Obviously, we have to name our business. This is a place that a lot of us get stuck, and that it takes a lot of us time, because it's kind of like naming a child, right? Except when we name a child, we have 9 months that we get to kind of play around with ideas and think about it. And I've done many coaching sessions where we've started with one name. We've, even had to be like, okay, let's just sleep on it. We'll come back to at our next coaching session. And then the very next time we come back, boom, we've got the name immediately. But it's also different from naming a kid, because you can name a kid the same name as someone else's kid. But with a business, you cannot name your business a name that someone else is already using. And so you have to look at things like Trademarkia. You have to Google the name of the business that you're looking for. You have to see what pops up. You've got to look on on socials. You've got to look at the domains. Like there's so many different things involved in it now because of the online space. You have to go to your Secretary of State website, check it there. And so I actually created a little mini course that I pulled out of the big course in case you're like, listen, I don't need the whole course teaching me how to start my business, but I am getting stuck on the name, or I don't know if someone else has this name, then it's $27. So if you go to proorganizers.academy.com and you scroll down, it's one of the mini courses that I'm offering. So for 27 bucks, I will walk you through exactly how to name your business. And then that way you don't get stuck there, right? So please take me up on that offer if you're getting stuck with the name, because I have had clients that have named their business something, and a year in, once they start working with me, I go look them up and realize someone else has that name and that they have actually been using a name too similar to someone else's business name. And then they have to change everything, their Instagram handle, their Google, the name of their, I mean, all of it. So just be very careful with naming your business and making sure that no one else has that name. All right, number 6, legal and banking. You do need to set up a business entity, which I will go into when we start talking, like through the series, I'll go into it. And again, if you go get my freebie on the website, I go into it a little bit more as well. You need to apply for an EIN number. So you really need to decide if you want to be a solopreneur, which means it's just you with the business, or if you want to have an LLC, which essentially makes the business its own entity and kind of gives it its own social security number, which is what the EIN number represents. Like it's kind of like the social security number for your business. You want to register with your Secretary of State. You need to set up bank accounts. You do not want to be mixing your personal money with your business money. You want to make sure you have a separate checking and savings. The checking is to be able to, have a debit card, cash, or put checks in there, all the things. The savings is what I use for my taxes. So normally about 20 to 25% of each job that you do, once you get everything legal, you want to pull from the checking and pop it into the savings. And in that way, at the end of the year, you have money sitting in the savings for tax purposes. And then once you do your taxes, anything left over is essentially like a bonus check that you get. But you want to make sure it's there because you do not want to have to owe the IRS money at the end of the year and not have that money put back. Okay, that's my little spill on that. I'm not a tax or legal professional. And so that was just advice based on what I personally do for inspirational purposes only. Please consult a tax or legal professional to decide what to do in your business when it comes to legal and tax issues. Now that that's been said, you also want to purchase business insurance. It's just a good practice to have business insurance. It is not extremely expensive. They are finally starting to see professional organizers as an actual topic, or, like a thing to choose on insurance for businesses. So there's plenty of places to go do that. One that's really good is simplybusiness.com. And it will give you options, like 3 different options, but just look at what it includes. And you can start doing the business insurance, of course, after you get to the point of like launching and you're ready to start working with clients. Like you do not have to start paying for that at the moment, because and there's a reason these are in this order, is because you need to do the other things first before you do this, right? Like you can't go get business insurance when you could, but You wouldn't want to go get business insurance when you've not even named the business, or you've not even set up the business entity, or you've not even, done the research to start the business. Like, there's a reason these are in the order they're in, and the reason that you would want to do them in this order. I promise you it will make your life so much easier. Okay. You also have to set up client payment systems. It says account, but it essentially means, like, for Square, different things like that. Venmo, you want to set up the business Venmo because you probably have your own personal Venmo, and you want to make sure those go straight into your business bank account. All right. Number 7, business foundations. So on here, of course, it says download paperwork. That's part of the course. And then you want to decide your ideal income. You want to decide your pricing. You want to decide your services. You want to decide, like, all of that goes into the foundations of the business. You need to know, what does it look like to work with you? And again, I will definitely be doing an episode just on that in this series, because that's huge and it matters. And so we will definitely go into all of those things. The logistics. Oh, downloading the paperwork. I was like, why does it say download paperwork? It's because you need paperwork for your business. And so that is the other mini course I have. Hello. It's been a long day, people. But so you want to download or go and purchase the paperwork, the paperwork that you need to work with clients. You can go and look at the mini course. It's $27 as well, because I wanted it to be very reasonable for you. But the naming your business and the paperwork both come in the actual course, that if you use the $50 off, by the time you pay the $27 for each of those things, you might as well purchase the course, so you get everything. Plus you get 3 months free of the group coaching community. And then it's only $24 a month after that, if you join the group coaching community through the link that's inside of the course. So I just wanted to make sure to mention that, because I would love to have you. It's life-changing. Like, all of my women in the membership say, I would not still have my business running, or I would not, still be doing this thing. Like, I would have quit a long time ago, or I wouldn't be nearly as far along if I didn't have this group coaching community. And we have almost 100 replays at this point. So there's almost as many replays from workshops and group coaching sessions in the membership as there are podcast episodes. So it's almost like a whole nother thing going on over there. And it's so worth it. Like, I would have done anything to have had that community and that sisterhood. And it's a place that, if you show up and you actually, like, participate, and you go into the app and you ask questions, and we're kind of like your team, like your business team. We're there if, like, you go to do your first consultation and you take photos and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I even do this? Or you're working with a client and it's difficult, or you're trying to name your business and it's like, you need feedback. But you want feedback from people who actually know you, not just random people on Facebook that you hope are giving you correct advice, right? That's a whole nother rabbit trail I could go down, but I'm not going to. Back to the list. All right. So number 8 is the logistics. So you want to set up Google Workspace. That is also where you will get your email. When you go to set up your domain for your website, if you go through GoDaddy, you do not want to add the email services through that, because it will actually not give you the Google Workspace system. And it's so much easier to have your business stuff through Google and through Google Workspace. So that is where you should go for your email stuff when you get to the point of wanting to do email marketing. Okay, Google Voice, if you don't want to use your own phone number, that is an option of a business phone number that you can use. You definitely, whichever phone number you use. I still use my personal phone number, but whichever phone number you use, you want to make sure to set up your voicemail. You can set up Calendly for free with one event if you want to make it to where it's super easy on your website for people to just click a button and set up a time to do the phone call with you. You need to set up Honeybooks and Square. Square is to take payments. Honeybooks is another option to do invoicing and keep up with your client management systems and all of those things. And then a definite thing that you want to make sure to do is use QuickBooks so your taxes stay connected. It's a lot to set up, or not a lot to set up at the beginning. It takes a little bit to get it going. But now, after you set up the rules and all of the ways that I show you how to set it up, once you set it up and leave it running in the background, it makes tax time so easy. I thank QuickBooks every time the tax season comes around. Okay. And then marketing and branding is number 9 on my list, which is like choosing your brand colors, creating a logo, having pictures that you use, writing a bio because you're going to need a bio in multiple different places, and then also writing an elevator pitch. Number 10, I have as getting leads. So that is, like your Facebook business page, your Instagram, creating social media templates, Google business profile. Like you definitely want to have a Google business page. That is huge. Find My Organizer, Angie's List, Thumbtack, asking friends and family for reviews on each platform. All of those things are things that need to be created at some point or another, not necessarily Angie's List or Thumbtack at first, but everything else. And it will help. It's building the bricks and it's doing it one step at a time towards getting leads. Now, it's a lot of stuff at the beginning, but each one of those things will help you. It creates backlinks to your website. It does so many things for you. And so that's why when I created the course, I put this stuff a little bit further at the end, because you need all the other stuff like your website and all of that. And then once you start creating all of these things I just listed, then things start to work together, and you start to see how leads will come through Google. But you also need to know, what are my services, right? So like there's so many pieces that go into this, which is why having the course and coming and joining us in the community, I cannot say it enough. And again, you can get $50 off if you use, in caps, save 50. And the reason I'm making it so affordable is because I want to help you. Like if you are a listener of mine, I appreciate you so much for listening. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe and like stuff because it helps the algorithm. And on the podcast, if you've not given me a review, I would really, really, really appreciate a 5-star review for the podcast because it helps it grow as well. But that's the reason I'm trying to make these things so affordable and give you so much information, is because it's what I needed. And I know it's what I'm called to do to help you. The only reason I charge anything for it is just because it's my time and because I have bills that I have to pay to keep Pro Organizers Coach running so I can keep bringing this content to you. So anyways, number 11 is client experience. Inside of the course, I go into, and I'm just going to, and I'm in this series, I'm definitely going to do a little section on client experience, because when it comes to, from the very first phone call, the consultation, the sessions, the follow-ups after, all of that to me is client experience. But it also starts on your website. It's any interaction that they are going to have with your business. For me, I have the writing on my actual vehicle. So when I'm driving around, I could be, or I could have a client that is technically experiencing me. So I wouldn't want to cut them off or, be like, I watch how I drive because I'm representing my business. And so that's why I said at the very beginning, creating a business mindset. We are in a helping industry, and we are now representing our business. Whether we realize it or not, people are going to start looking, they're going to start watching. And so getting our ducks in a row is super helpful, and getting that mindset from the beginning, but knowing that every little thing we do could be a potential client that we could be working with. And so that's where planting the seeds and all of those things that I talk about, and being an organizer and having a mission, it becomes a way of life. It is every day. It's not just when we're working with clients. It's not just when we are creating social media templates and posts or whatever we're doing. It's even the times in between. It's when we're at the grocery store. It's when we're interacting with our kids' teachers. It's when we're at church. It's a way of living. And so that's why it's so crucial that we help you enjoy this and find your calling and your passion and your purpose, and create the mindset that you need, along with all of the tactical business, tangible things that need to be done. Because running a business is fantastic when you know what you're doing, and it can be very brutal if you don't know what you're doing, and you can end up wasting a lot of time, and that's never any fun. So if we're going to create a business that we love and a way of life that we have dreamed about, let's make it fun. Let's enjoy it. Let's make it easy. Let's have community. Let's be thankful and joy filled and purpose filled, and be able to tell our friends and our family with a smile on our face and with joy in our heart when we tell them, because we know what we're talking about, we know how to talk about it, and because it is who we are, then it's going to come out and it's going to be magical. And when I say magical, as in God filled, like when the Holy Spirit is around, you feel the energy and it feels magical, right? That's what I mean by that. Like, you want people to be like, oh my goodness, what is different about you? Like, you seem so happy, or, something's different with you. What is it? And then you can literally be, "Oh my goodness, so I started a business and I'm helping people, and I'm living my dreams, and I'm doing my passion, and every day I get to go into clients' homes and help them declutter, or help them organize, or help them meal prep, or whatever your thing is." There's so many different options of what you get to create. And I think it's so cool that we live in a time that we get to have a dream and we get to create that dream. And I thank you so much for trusting me to be your coach to help you create the dream that you are meant to have, to live, and to love. It's amazing. All right, girl. I know I've taken a lot of your time. I thank you so much for being with me through this. I truly hope that this has helped you. Again, go get the freebie at proorganizerscoach.com. Look in the show notes in the description for all of the links mentioned in today's episode. Please go review me and give me 5-star reviews. I would really appreciate it. There's a lot of work that goes into this, but I know that I'm meant to be doing this. And so I thank you so much. I truly hope to see you inside of the academy, which are the courses and the membership. And I will see you in the next episode. Have a blessed day, friend.